I'm Rob, and I'm shipping my Yamaha T7 down to Santiago, Chile. Ride down to Ushuaia, turning around, and riding all the way back to Canada. Follow me to see where I'm going next.
We're about an hour north of Lima, and it's very desolate out here. So very dry. Okay, so this feels totally random. We're going to this lodge, the Emperadada something lodge, and I turned off the freeway, the Pan American North Highway, and then I've been on this gravel road maybe for 6 or 7 kilometers, but there's been so many private roads, a couple gates, but on the last gate the guy just opened it and let me through, no questions asked. The roads on Google seems kind of random. 25 kilometers to go. Hopefully it is what it is, or it is what it says it's going to be. So got these new tires, running the Moto Z Tractionator Adventure on the rear, which I've run, I think this is probably the third time I've had this tire, and it's great for off-road, and it's not bad on the pavement. It's a little bit louder than the GPS. It won't wear as long because it's chunkier. It's a more off-road oriented tire, so I'll be interested to see how far I can run this tire. When I've run it in the past at home in Canada, I do a lot of off-road stuff there. I don't know what the percentage is, probably 40% off-road, so it's a fair bit more than here. And I'm not easy on my tire off-road, and both times I've run it, I've done around 8,500 kilometers. So I'm hoping I'm gonna get close to 10 on this, because it'll be more road oriented and not a lot of twists of the throttle off-road. So this tire should last me till I get to someplace in Central America. That's my hope. Yeah, then on the front, I'm running the Moto Z GPS. So I guess it's really the twin of the tire I had on the back before. I'm not sure what the tire pressure the guys at the shop filled it up to, but man, they're hard. They probably filled it to like 36 or something. So yeah, I'm getting jarred here. So I'll check that at the lodge. I'll check the tire pressure. I really should have done that before. When I left the tire shop, I should have asked them just to put in 30, because that's what I've been running, 28 to 30. But it really feels like I got about 34 in these tires. Anyway, I guess that's fine, because it certainly prevents pinch flats. Yeah, so look at this. It's yeah, so dry. It's kind of counterintuitive, because the coast, Lima is on the coast, and I'm not far from the coast here, but it's so damn dry. Okay. I think I go straight. Yeah, Emperadada. There, look at that sign. How about that? And what's happened to my tablet? Kind of cool, right? I wouldn't want to camp out here. Wow, what a road. Someone lost a bumper. A lot of dirt. Haven't seen Mr. B in quite a while. He was going a fair bit slower than me on the freeway, so I just kept on going at my pace. I suspect that there's a good chance he didn't take this road because OpenStreetMap was directing me a different way, further up the highway, and then having to come back down to Empedrada to the lodge. And Google obviously sent me on this route, which is interesting because OSM originally had this route and then it changed. It just redirected.
So shortly I got to the lodge and I waited around for Mr. B. I got there at 10:30 and he still wasn't there. So I opened up Garmin Maps and started to track him. And sure enough, he took the other way around. And when I checked into the hotel, I told them that, yeah, my friend is coming, but he's a little bit delayed. I think he went the other route. And they said, well, that's going to be an issue because the river's too high and he can't get through, so he's going to have to go all the way back around. So it was actually, in fact, 2.5 hours before Mr. B made it to the hotel. So part of the delay was the 125 kilometers additional distance he had to go by doing that backtracking. But he also told me that when he got to the hotel that he had been stopped on the highway north of Lima. As I said, I hadn't seen him in a long time. I just kept on going through at my speed. And he got pulled over in some small town. And the policeman said that he had clocked both of us on radar doing 75 kilometers an hour in a 60 zone. And this one policeman anyway, wanted him to pay 1,250 sols each as a fine. Mr. B stood on the side of the road for 45 minutes and negotiated with this guy and got him down to 100 sols each. So obviously it was a bit of a shakedown. So needless to say, Mr. B was quite tired and hot when he got to the hotel 2.5 hours after me. And here is a snapshot of Mr. B's route. So you can see he went up on the left-hand side there and then got to the river and couldn't cross it. So he had to come back all the way down, around, and then up to the lodge again.
Good morning, everyone. So we've just left the Empedrada Lodge, which was very, very nice. Reasonably priced for what you get. Couple pools. Very nice food. There was not many guests there. I think there was about 4 or 5 when we got there. And just overnight, there was just 2 of us and then just another family. And they're closing today for a couple of days because they're fumigating their crops. So they grow avocados, tangerines, and one other fruit I can't recall. Anyway, really nice place. Unfortunately, we have to go in and out the same road because the just a kilometer north of the lodge, there's a river crossing. No bridge, just right across the river, and the river is too high May to I guess it's December to May. It's too high. So we have to turn around and go back the way we came, which is no big deal. It's not too far. It's about a 30-kilometer backtrack through here. So this is, yeah, I saw yesterday, it's going in reverse. So today we're heading up to Playa Tortuga. About 4 hours ride today up the coast, and we're staying in a little hostel right across from the beach. It looks quite nice. We got reservations there, so yeah, I think we'll just poke along, maybe take some side trips down to the actual water, because the coast road is actually not really right on the coast. So this is Highway 1, the Pan American Highway going north, 1N. So yeah, we'll just take some maybe just some side routes down and take a look at the water along the way, because it's only about a 4 or 5 hour ride. So we got lots of time. Check-in's not till 2, so let's see what we can see today. About 45 minutes ago, we just left the town of Playa Tortugas on the beach there. We stayed at Gabriel's Hostel. Really nice people. Very, very basic, but clean. And as far as a hostel on the beach, it was it was okay. It was pretty chill. Had a great deck up top, secure parking for our motorcycles, which is always really key. So today we're going to Chiclayo, which is 380 kilometers from where we are now. So we've got probably another 6 hours or so, 5 hours. So last night I was just chilling in bed and chatting with my son and my sister, and they're asking me how the trip is going and how I enjoyed the trip into the Amazon. And I said, well, that was just spectacular. I'm really glad I took the opportunity to do that. The people at the Grand Amazon Lodge were fantastic. It's just amazing to see all the wildlife and the vegetation there in the Amazon. It really is a pretty spectacular place, and if you have an opportunity to go, I really recommend it. But other than that, Peru has so much natural beauty, like, of course, Cusco, all the mountans and valleys and rivers and Machu Picchu, all the Inca history I found fascinating. But honestly, other than that, Peru is really challenged. They have a really checkered past. There is so much poverty here. They're far, far behind the West, and obviously I had some sense of that before I came, but once you're actually in the country and you're traveling by motorcycle, you just see so much of the local life that you might not otherwise see if you're doing a tour and just hopping on a bus and going to nice hotels and restaurants. You miss all that, and so it's been very, very educational. But as I said, the country is really challenged. There's so many desperate little towns that we've been through, hundreds of these small little towns, and there's so much poverty, so much garbage. It's really, they're a long way off from becoming a fully developed country. When we're in Cusco, we took a walking tour of the town, and the guide was telling us that that so much of the history since the Spanish have come has not been productive. They've really only had a stable government for the last 20 years sort of thing, and before that there was just so much instability, governments coming and going, so much corruption, and you have an appreciation for what a stable democratic society can achieve through 150 years, like Canada and the US and so much of the Western world, that these countries in the South America just haven't had that same fortunality of having stable governments with reasonable human rights and not much corruption. So it's really set these people back. So I find a lot of these towns you go through, honestly, it's like there's so much desperation. I don't know what other way to put it. It looks like a lot of these countries, a lot of these towns, it's like a war went through. There's so much of the buildings and things are just falling apart, and there's very little investment. It seems like whatever they had maybe for investment, was about 40 or 50 years ago, and everything else is just so run down. There's obviously a big disparity between the haves and the haves not, and the haves here in Peru are a fairly small part of the population, and then there's this massive gap, and then not much in the way of middle income, and then people that are just barely eking a living. Anyway, I certainly appreciate the opportunity, and I've loved my time here in Peru, and that's my observations. It makes me feel lucky and lots of gratitude for growing up where I did. All right, this is the first time in 4 hours I've found something interesting to film. So we're about 45 kilometers away from our destination tonight. I think it's at a little town called Mancayo. It's on the coast, not far from Ecuador. And it's hot. It's like, it's been well over 30 all day today. It's 34, 35 right now. And yeah, this is the few corners we've had in 4 hours. I'm not joking. Like, it's been straight as an arrow.
So approaching the hotel, we're about 10 or 15 minutes out, so I pull over for a quick viewpoint, but I'm not feeling very good at all, and I haven't been feeling very good for the last couple of hours, so unfortunately this was the sign of things to come. 5 days riding. So we left Lima, went north on the Panamericana Highway Norte, turned inland to the Empedrado Lodge, came back out the same way, and then continued up to Playa Tortugas for a night, and then Chiclayo for a night, and then back onto the coast to a little town south of Manikayo, and now heading up into Ecuador.